Bible says, this is my son. He didn't say this is my child. He says, this is my son in whom I am well pleased. But in the first place, when Jesus was born, the prophecy that came through Isaiah was that to us a child is born, and to us a son is given. So now the challenge we have is that children are given to the work of ministry. Children are given to the work of ministry. Children are the ones that are given to take care, to be caretakers of certain movements, of certain networks. Now, it's because they have, it is possible to be a child, but it's so difficult to be a son. Because what qualifies one to be a child is just to be born. But what qualifies one to become a son is to go through the race of discipline. So there are quite some number of things that sometimes God by himself, he will cut from you. There are things God will not expose to you. Not because you will never have them, but he's trying to remove a child. He's trying to remove a son from a child. He's trying to birth a child from a son. Okay? The Bible says, according to Galatians chapter number, in Galatians chapter number 4, chapter number 4, verse number 1 says, this is what I am saying. When young children inherit all that their father owned, they are still no different from his slave. It doesn't matter what they own. Everything, while they are children, for them, but when they reach the age, the father said, they are free. It is the same for us. We were once like children, slaves to the useless rules of this world. But when the right time came, God sent his son, who was born from a woman and lived under the freedom of those who were under the law. God's purpose was to me. Okay, so now we understand something that, there's something here that, the writer Paul is saying. He says, when children inherit all that their father owned, they are still not different from slaves. Okay, so it has no volume, it has no value when children inherit. Okay, there are some of us, we are believing for things that are beyond our capacity. And one of the things God permits is to allow discipline. So in the book of Hebrews chapter number 12, we hear from chapter 11, it gives us faith. Okay, we begin to receive faith through men that walked with God. And after he realized we have been lifted by those that served God faithfully, and he reveals the ways where we hear to say it was by faith that Moses decided to withdraw the riches that were in Egypt. Okay, he decided to go and suffer with Jethro. Okay, he decided to withdraw himself from the king's palace and went, to Jethro, and where he went, to do the work. And we realize in our time, no one can admit such a thing. But those are what we call dealings. Those are dealings, and that's the only way God makes men. Okay, we have a lot of people who are half-baked. We have a lot of people who are half-baked. Do you know why? It's because there are a lot of children that have been entrusted with the work of ministry. And this is the reason why there are all sorts of game everywhere. One of the keys to ascend is to embrace it, is to welcome